Before we get started, does anyone want to get out?
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Comic Blast podcast. Grayson is not here today. I'm Keenan, the host, but joining me is Grayson's dad, Mike.
This is Mike, not Grayson.
Yes, a lot of people actually, and even I did last time you were on the podcast, got you and Grayson confused because your voices are very deep and they sound very much alike.
Grayson doesn't think we sound alike, but when I heard it last time, I was like, I had a hard time telling us apart. So
yeah, it was tough. But Grayson's on vacation right now. Hopefully he's having a great time.
He is. He's been having fun. Staying in touch, but I think he's ready to come home.
I think so. Yeah, he sent us a message on Twitter, actually.
Oh, did he?
I guess I should read that.
Yeah.
He says, very grateful for my dad for taking my place on Comic Blast today. I'm excited to listen and hear what Keenan and him have to say.
I'm going to cry a little bit now.
Oh, wait, there's more.
There's more.
I didn't even see this. He made it a thread. Very timely for Father's Day. Wish I got to be there. Love you, Dad. Now you can cry.
You have to do the rest of the podcast.
No, but
love
we
you
miss
too,
him.
son, and I'm very proud of what you and Keenan are doing, and I feel honored to be able to be on the podcast.
Yeah, we weren't going to do an episode last week. We were debating on doing an episode, which thankfully you decided to step in, which was great. And we're appreciative of that. Yeah. I told Grayson, like last week, he's like, just have my dad on it. And I was like, okay. And he was like, really? And I was like, yeah. I'm like, I still want to do it, you know?
Yeah, when you came in the door, it's like, you want to be on the podcast? I'm like, heck yeah, I'll be on the podcast.
I was like, this is awesome.
So
I've been looking forward to it all week.
Yeah, me too. I've been, and hopefully I live up to you guys' standards. I've been watching comic news all week and things like that. So hopefully I can hold my own here.
You will, for sure. So there's a ton of news and stuff we're going to get into from the week. Actually, a lot of news that we need to get into from the past week. Before we do that, just want to plug our Instagram, which is @ComicBlastOfficial, and Twitter @ComicBlast_. And subscribe to the YouTube channel. We really want to get that going. And subscribe to the podcast if you're listening to Apple Podcasts. Other than that, we can hop into all of the news. I think the major thing that people want to talk about from this week was that E3 was held, which is the big video game conference. Right. I'm not a huge gamer, but I keep up with the superhero games.
Right.
I think you probably
I'm not a huge gamer myself. Used to play more, but I just obviously don't have a lot of time for that nowadays. And I was a PC gamer as well.
Oh, really?
I wasn't a console guy. I cannot do
the controllers.
Superhero games, Star Wars games like that, I can do my own, but like shooters, I'm terrible with that. So I was a PC gamer, but
gotcha.
But anyway, I don't play a lot of those anymore. Yeah. But I do hear a lot from Grayson.
Grayson's our big, the video game guy.
So.
He's always got the information, which is a shame. He'd probably love to talk about this game, but
I'm sure he would, because this news came out, this trailer came out.
He was gone.
Yeah, he was already gone.
Or he was getting ready to leave.
It came out the day after the last, because it came out Monday, and it was the day after the last.
True. That's it.
We recorded the last one. So,
awesome. Yeah, so the first bit of footage or trailer that was shown for Marvel's Avengers, which is a game that's going to be available on PlayStation 4 and pretty much every system, I think.
Yeah, I think it was
Xbox. And then there's this new Google I guess, console that's coming out. Grayson probably knows more about that.
Yeah, I heard that last week.
Stadia?
You guys talking about it, and that's the first I'd heard of it. So that's kind of interesting.
It's interesting to say the least.
Google taking over the world.
Exactly. But yeah, the footage was highly anticipated. Square Enix is the studio that's involved in kind of producing this game. They dropped like a little teaser for this. Hardly a teaser, but they basically announced that the game was in development about 2 years ago, and we basically heard nothing from it up until this point. So it was highly anticipated. It was the last thing I think that they revealed at their panel.
Yeah, well, that's right.
Exactly. So I was really excited for it. I know Grayson was really excited for it. They showed off the footage and it got hit with a lot of backlash, mixed reactions. A lot of it has less to do with what's going on in the story and more to do with the character design, which I feel like the people who feel like the character design is a mess, are justified in that thinking.
Like graphically, it looked great.
Yeah, it looked fine.
Like the scenery, the background, the helicarrier, and all that kind of stuff looked great. But a couple of the characters were bad cosplays. Is that what we call it?
They're the knockoff version of the Avengers.
I even saw a tweet that said that Thor kind of looked like Luke Hemsworth when he was in the play in Ragnarok.
Right.
The knockoff Thor, and Cap just looks like, just like, we talked about it earlier, face and everything looked okay.
Yeah.
But that suit that he had on, it was like, what is that?
Too much body armor for that. It was just too bulky. I love, my favorite version of Cap is when he looks more stealthy,
right?
And he definitely does not have that appearance in this. I thought Iron Man was like okay.
He was all right.
Yeah, I thought Tony Stark looked pretty good, but the suit I wasn't a huge fan of.
It kind of looked more like they had gone back to Iron Man 1,
right?
Like
early
an
MCU
version of it, or early days or something.
Yeah,
so it was all right.
It's tough because you have to everybody has to understand that the game is separate from the MCU,
right.
And the developers should have the ability to make it their own. But at the same time, the designs are just so rough to look at. It doesn't make me excited to want to be the characters and play in the game. I thought Black Widow, it felt like her hair was just like a wig floating on top of her head.
And she looked like she was, I don't know, to me she looked like she was like 40 to 50 years old too.
Yep.
And not that there's anything wrong with 40 to 50 year olds.
No.
Like I am, but
I'll be there soon.
Yeah. You got a ways to go, Keenan. The design. I thought Bruce looked all right.
I thought Bruce was probably the best looking one, especially with Hulk too.
He did kind of have to me, he had a Sylvester Stallone 1980s Rambo
it's the
haircut.
Hair.
But
Rambo's a great movie, by the way.
Rambo is a great movie.
Great trilogy.
Fifth one coming out.
I know. I'm excited for that.
So it looks good. But he looked all right. Hulk looked great. I thought. Matter of fact, I thought he really looked a lot like.
He was the best. He looks like the MC or the early.
He looked like the Incredible Hulk.
Yes, Edward Norton's.
Edward Norton's. Yeah, he looked like that. So it was pretty good. I liked that.
I liked that. Everything else, I was kind of like, I'm not sure about this. So other than that, that's the only complaint I have. I'm curious to see where the gameplay goes. They didn't really show any gameplay.
It looked like some clips kind of in there, but it was hard to tell. I did see earlier today that there was some other game footage that was leaked. But
yeah, I saw that.
It was like somebody videoing somebody.
It looked like a bootleg movie. Yeah.
It was hard. You couldn't tell anything.
I tried to look at that, and I was like, I can't really judge it on this.
Yeah, I couldn't either. It was
it looked like a mess. I heard. So there were people who actually did get to play the game, but they weren't allowed to film it. And I heard the gameplay was actually really good.
Okay.
So they said that you felt like you were actually the character that you were playing. Cool. So you have their abilities and stuff like that. So that's intriguing. Grayson mentioned that one of the kind of perks of the game, I guess, is that you will be able to kind of customize the characters. So if you don't like the appearance, you'll be able to kind of customize what suit they're going to wear or unlock some new things and abilities and stuff like that. So that could be a positive. But
I know you guys really like that on the Spider-Man.
Spider-Man, it's huge for us.
Yeah, so I like that.
That'd be pretty cool. It seems like the developers and the director of the game has pretty much said that the design of the characters aren't going to change.
Right.
Which is interesting to me.
Yeah, which, of course, like I said, though, if this game's been in development 2 years, you can't really go in and change.
There's not a ton you can do.
No, you can't do it overnight. So, the one thing I was kind of confused about was the storyline kind of looked like, I'm not really sure what happened there, but it looked like almost like the snap from Infinity War and the beginning of Endgame with all these people missing, but they don't really indicate what causes it.
They made it feel like a huge catastrophic event happened to the world, and I'm not sure about that. I know Taskmaster shows up in the trailer, and supposedly, and I can kind of see the connections forming already. This game it's probably going to be connected to Spider-Man. as
Okay.
well. Taskmaster actually shows up in Spider-Man and has a completely different looking design. But in terms of like the connection between the universes, in the Spider-Man game, Peter mentioned something about the Avengers being on the West Coast for an event.
Oh, okay.
And they're
So-
they're on the West Coast. They're in like California or San Francisco.
Yeah, they
I
were
think.
in San Francisco.
Yeah.
So now is this the same company?
It's not the same company, but they're both in collaboration with Marvel Entertainment.
Okay.
So,
Gotcha.
yeah. So it'll be interesting to see if they're connected. I probably will enjoy the game a little bit more knowing that they're connected.
Right.
But yeah, it's interesting that Taskmaster is going to show up because he actually pops in and out of the game, the Spider-Man game.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if that was. I didn't recognize immediately that was Taskmaster. I was like,
Yeah.
is that Taskmaster or is that because he kind of also looked like Crossbones? Isn't it Crossbones
Yeah.
from was it Civil
Civil
War?
War,
Yeah,
yeah.
So I wasn't sure which way they were.
He has a
going with
different
that.
looking
Yeah.
design than in the other game too.
Yeah.
So I'm not. They haven't like confirmed that or anything, but it seems like they're kind of hinting towards that. Which should be interesting. But
And that's when is that game out?
it comes out May 15th of next year.
Next year.
So they have less
we've
than a
got
year.
and we've got a while before there'll probably maybe be another trailer and some other stuff.
Yeah, hopefully
Yeah.
some gameplay will get
Yeah.
revealed. Hopefully.
Will anything be at like D23 for that or?
I don't think so. I don't know. That's interesting. I'm not sure about that.
Yeah, I'm not sure how the whole that Marvel
Gaming
and all that
stuff, yeah.
gaming stuff plays into the Disney thing.
I know
and
they
all that
didn't do
stuff.
anything for Spider-Man, but there was a D23 last year.
Right.
So I'm not sure how that works.
So we'll just
but
have to play it by ear.
exactly.
So
I'm
that
actually
goes-
really excited for D23,
Oh, yeah.
which is actually probably a good segue into our next topic, which is Marvel possibly announcing their slate of movies that will be coming up.
Yeah, I saw, and I was telling Keenan, I see a lot of stuff come through Facebook feed, and it was supposedly somebody from Marvel has leaked that there's possibly 7 movies that they have in the works they're planning right now. And then, of course, I couldn't find the article again when we got started. so don't.
That's how things work.
Yeah, don't confirm this or anything, but I do. I believe it was the Eternals. One, they were going to reboot the Eternals from the TV show, which was I think we looked. It was the ABC.
You mean the
Network.
Inhumans?
Yeah, excuse me, the
Inhumans?
Inhumans.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Yeah, and then the Eternals was mentioned in the movies.
Yeah.
Doctor Strange 2. Couple other Keenan, I think, and you might even have the list of them.
Yeah,
I'm not sure.
so obviously there's going to be Doctor Strange 2, Guardians 3, Black Widow, which I'm pretty sure is going to come out next year.
Yeah, they're already shooting that one. as a
Yeah,
matter
they're
of
already
fact.
shooting that.
Yeah.
It's interesting. They have 3 movies that are definitely going to come out next year.
Right.
And I know for a fact Marvel will announce something at D23 for those 3 at the very least. And maybe they'll do a whole Phase 4 announcement.
That's what I'm wondering because they did that a few years ago. I
Yeah.
don't remember if it was D23, but it was. I
think it
remember when
was.
I think it was
Yeah.
too because they had the whole panel and that was when
Exactly.
they brought in Chadwick Boseman for Black Panther
Yeah.
and all the characters that had not even been introduced
Really cool.
yet.
Yeah.
So really cool. So.
So there's there's 3 movies that are definitely coming out for
Yeah.
Marvel next year. It's interesting though because we're halfway through the year and they've only started shooting Black Widow.
Yeah,
I'm a
that's
little bit
kinda-
confused unless they have something going on behind the scenes.
right, that we don't know.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
'Cause I'm really confused by that.
Yeah.
Hopefully they get some movies going. I'm like they're running out of time.
Right
To shoot these
We
films.
don't want the. Of course, that may be part of their strategy. Make it a little more. Make people anticipate the movies a little bit more, so they want to go
Yeah,
to the
yeah,
theaters and see those.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
which I can't. I'd have a hard time believing that. Nobody wants to go see these, especially after the way Endgame.
Yeah.
Then everybody's like, the
I think
Marvel,
Black Widow is gonna be
the
huge.
Marvel, I agree. I think so too. So because the Marvel is the rage right now. So,
Exactly. Yeah. Everybody's showing up for Marvel films. So I think we said Black Widow is probably going to be one. Guardians 3 will definitely be one at some point in time. Doctor Strange 2, The Eternals, possibly Inhumans. Then we have Black Panther 2, which will
Yep.
come out at some point in time. I know Captain Marvel 2 is eventually going to happen.
Yeah. Saw that. I even saw. I didn't read the article, but I did see where they had possibly. Well, actually, there was one article I read, and then there was another one I did not read where they were talking about they may have already announced the villain for Captain Marvel 2. One of them said it was going to be Ronan.
Oh,
was
really?
Going to be back. So the Ronan the Accuser, not Ronan.
Yeah.
Not Ronan the I'm mad and killing everybody.
Yeah. Hawkeye.
Yeah, Hawkeye. So, so anyway, we'll just have to see about that. So
There's also Shang-Chi, which
I'm not
I'm
I
not
don't know
familiar with the
anything
character.
about that
Yeah,
character at
I know
all,
a lot of people are really excited about it.
Does that?
I wouldn't be
fall into
surprised
Iron
if that.
Fist or anything.
I have no idea.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm not sure about that one at all.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, when I saw that, I was like, I don't even know what that is.
Yeah, I'm like Shang-Chi. Like
Yeah.
usually I get excited when announcements happen,
Yeah.
and I'm just like, what?
What is
like,
Shang-Chi? Yeah.
Like, let me just go hit up Wikipedia real quick.
Exactly.
But that I wouldn't be surprised if that ends up being a movie that comes out next year. I'm thinking Black Widow, maybe the Eternals, because the cast is really starting to kind of form for that one.
Right.
And then maybe Shang-Chi is possibly the third one. So you're basically delving into next year, possibly seeing a lot of characters that we're not really familiar with.
Okay.
Or
Right.
that have been established in the MCU yet.
Which is fine. I mean, that's
It's a nice kind of
it's
breath of fresh air after
you know the main characters that people knew.
Right.
Well, I mean, yeah, people knew them, but they still didn't know a ton of the backstory for Black Widow and Hawkeye. So
Sure.
that helped putting those in there. But I think Feige really has a good vision for, okay, we're going to put these main characters out there to get this rolling, and now we're going to start opening up.
They're
going
to
to
bring up these other characters that people aren't familiar with.
They have some, and they're really cool characters. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of really cool smaller characters.
I'll be
that you
honest,
don't
like
even know.
Feige has done an incredible job of like making me like characters that I never thought I would really care for.
Yeah.
Like Doctor Strange was always cool, but he was only cool to me when he was like popping in and out of like Spider-Man cartoons.
Right.
Growing up, that's like what I knew him for, and then Doctor Strange became one of my favorite characters after the films.
Right. Yeah.
It's just really cool. And then Thor obviously has grown on me quite a bit.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, he's you have to trust him. It's like in Feige we trust.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
you just
exactly.
have to trust whatever he does.
I remember when Thor came out. You talk about he's growing on you. I was like, well, I'll go see it because at the time Grayson was little. He was. I don't remember what age. I don't remember when that movie came out. That
what was that? 2011 or?
Yeah, I want to say it was
2011 or 10.
I want to say it 10 or 11. So Grayson was 10 years old or something like that. And it's like, hey, let's go see a comic book movie, you know. And it was like, it's pretty good. But then by the time Ragnarok and then all the other those, it's like, okay, he's my favorite character now.
Yeah.
I mean, he was like, the immigrant song and the lightning bolts coming out of your eyes. That's just, okay. Yeah.
They reinvented that character.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, so funny. So how things, it's like I said, just trust Kevin Feige.
No matter what he does, you just kind of have to
especially if he gets the Russos involved.
Yes. I hopefully they end up becoming like they're doing something, even if they're like executive producers of something.
Right.
They need to have their hand in Marvel at all times.
Yes,
I think.
Yes.
The only thing I didn't really love lately was Captain Marvel. I thought that was okay.
It was all right. But
Yeah, I mean it was fine for an origin movie,
Yeah.
but other than that, I mean Marvel really hasn't had a misstep in quite some time.
Right. And I think my thing with Captain Marvel is it's another one like this Shang-Chi. I just didn't know the character real well. It wasn't one of my favorite characters. I knew she existed, but it was.
She was like Captain Marvel is like kind of new. Carol Danvers as Captain Marvel is like new in the comics because she was always Miss Marvel.
Right.
For quite some time.
When I was a kid, Captain Marvel was Shazam.
Yeah.
So,
people always bring that up to me all the time when I say Captain
Which
Marvel.
it actually changed after I was born, but still everybody that, so like when I would go around calling him Shazam, my parents were like, no, that's Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
And I'm like, by then time he'd actually changed to Shazam because of the whole rights things, but I still was like, oh, Mom and Dad says Captain Marvel, so who's Captain Marvel?
Yeah, exactly.
So funny. So I was looking up Shang-Chi here. Says he's the son of an internationally renowned and powerful criminal mastermind.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
So I guess he's just going against Dad. He's got, and obviously he's a master of kung fu. Imagine the name there.
What's the guy that plays? Do you watch The Walking Dead?
I did up until
season 5, probably
5 or 6.
Yeah, I stopped around there.
Yeah.
I can't remember the guy who plays Glenn.
Steven something.
Something like that. There's a lot of rumors that he may be playing the main character in that film. There's been some some sort of connection between him and Feige.
Right.
Like they've been seen talking and stuff like that.
Okay.
Whether it be at like premieres or whatever.
Gotcha.
So I think that'd be really cool if he
Steven, how do you pronounce his last name? It's Yeun, so Ewan or Yin or Yoon or something like that.
Yeah.
Steven Yeun. So I could see that. As a matter of fact, this picture I pull up right here of him, it's got kind of long hair. More, when he first was on Walking Dead, he was like real short.
Yeah.
And then it kind of grew out and stuff. I'm looking, I'm like, yeah, I could see a kung fu guy.
Yeah,
So,
that'd be cool.
Yeah, it'd be pretty neat.
He's a great actor.
Yeah.
So.
He dies really well with a ball back to the head.
He does a great job.
Too soon? Is it too soon? I'm sorry.
I don't think anyone's ever ready for that again. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the news on the Marvel movies. One thing that you brought up to me, which I wasn't aware of, was that Disney World or Disney Parks are looking into.
It said Disneyland started out, but Marvel Land or Marvel World, which I'm sure they'll come up with because
creative name,
because like Galaxy's Edge was originally Star Wars Land.
It needs to be like the Avengers facility.
Yeah, something. The Avengers compound.
Yeah. That would be cool.
Good. That'd be good. So
there we go.
Yeah,
let's copyright that.
The only concern I have is this actually a world or is it just a souvenir shop? Because we were doing a little research and the article I saw said they were planning on spending like $14 million on this, and Galaxy's Edge spent like.
You said it was like 158
million or something. So I don't know.
That makes me sad.
Yeah. It's like, is this just a T-shirt shop? Or is it
14 million? It's like they're clearing out some space with with some laying down some cement for some shops. Is what it sounds like. Because when you first mentioned it to me, I'm like, yes. I'm like, because like Marvel's my number one thing.
Right.
I think you and Grayson probably are like Star Wars is your number one thing. So I was like really excited. I'm like, this is my Galaxy's Edge, and then it turns out it doesn't seem like they're investing a ton into this, which is a little bit disappointing.
Yeah,
like you said, it sounds just like we're gonna get a little strip where you can buy Marvel things and merchandise, and maybe they'll have like a little section to do a photo op with Captain America.
And another thing that concerns me about it is it says they're planning on. It says 2020. An open date in 2020. That's,
really soon.
Yeah, that's really soon. So, because they've been working on Galaxy's Edge
years.
for 5-6 years now.
Yep.
Yeah, and I guess basically since Disney got the rights to Star Wars.
Yeah.
And
it's just so weird that Disney they haven't done anything in their parks with Marvel. Yeah. They've owned Marvel much longer than they have.
A long time.
Yeah, longer than they have Star Wars.
Yeah.
So you'd think they would do something with it. I'm just not sure why they haven't. I wouldn't say embraced it, but just taken advantage of what you could do with that.
Right. Like I said, here's 4 different articles from 4 different sources that Disneyland announces plans for a $14 million Marvel Land, and I'm like, that's
nothing.
Not a lot of money. No.
You can't even get Robert Downey Jr. to show up for that amount of money.
Exactly.
Like that's nothing.
Yeah. He's got that much cash in his wallet.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, we'll see. I'm kind of nervous about that. We'll see how that goes. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not a ton that we can talk on that, but it is a bit of a disappointment.
Yeah.
Hopefully, maybe they'll expand on it somewhere down the line.
Yeah. I'm sure we'll get some news over the next coming months and stuff. So.
Maybe D23 might be a place for that.
Yeah. Could be.
Yeah. So what do we have going on with the Batman?
Okay, so I know you talked a couple weeks ago about Batman with Robert Pattinson. So, which to me was a very interesting selection.
Oh wait, let's talk about that because I haven't got your opinion on that.
My opinion of it is, and I might be a little bit swayed because I've listened to your other podcast.
Yeah.
But I did not have a problem with it. I've kind of grown into this of, okay, let's give it a chance and see. Because I was not crazy about when they selected Ben Affleck. I was like, it was like.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was like, or.
Man, the internet blew up on that day. I remember it.
I don't know. Yeah, it did.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know. But I thought he did really well in the role.
Really good.
Yeah, I thought he was really good. So Pattinson, He does remind me a lot of Christian Bale as
Yeah.
far as his looks and his. Obviously, he's going to have to hit the weight room.
Yeah.
And he's going to have to wash off the glitter from
The shine, the sparkles.
the sparkles from. Oh shoot, I can't even think of the movies.
Twilight?
Twilight, yeah.
Yeah.
So, which I only saw one of those. I never did watch all of those. I watched the first one, and
Yeah.
I'll be honest. The fight scene at the end of it was pretty cool, and the baseball scene. It was like, oh, that's pretty cool.
I told
concept.
Grayson,
So-
I was like, I actually really liked the first one.
Yeah.
I don't know why. It
Yeah.
just like interests me. And
I've
then
al-
that series got really bad as it went
Did
along.
it? I've
Yeah,
always
sucked.
liked vampire and werewolf movies and stuff, but this
Me
was
too.
more of a teenage drama movie. But
Yeah.
I think he'll do well. He's a great actor. I think they'll buff him up plenty. And then obviously the good thing with Batman is he wears body armor.
Yeah.
So,
It kinda
that's-
bulks him up a little
it's
bit
bulk-
more.
That's one thing. You know, you go all the way back to 1989 Batman with, oh man. what's-
Keaton.
Yeah, Michael Keaton.
Yeah.
How would I can't believe I forgot his
I
name,
don't
but
know.
Michael Keaton. It's Alzheimer's kicking in.
Our
you know,
ages
so,
switched
but-
just now.
Yeah, so I remember everybody talking about Michael Keaton because he's a short guy.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know.
yeah.
But they fixed that in movies. They make it look like you're taller and things like that. But then they came out and we were like, well, he has no muscles. But then they came out with the suit and it was like, oh yeah,
That's why you had to just chisel the abs on the
it's like,
suit.
Yeah, it's like he's got body armor. Batman doesn't need so. So
Right.
yeah, I'm kind of looking forward to that. I'm glad to see they're moving forward with something.
Finally,
It's-
after years, it's been what?
Yeah, I mean.
Maybe since 2016, 17,
'cause
they've
it
been
was
talking
already-
about this
I think
movie.
That movie was supposed to be out this year, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was supposed to come out
Yeah,
this year.
So
That's that makes me sad about DC.
DC is just such a mess.
I know, they make
we
me
were
sad.
talking about it, and it's like if they would just play the long game instead of, oh, these two movies didn't do great.
Oh,
we're
stop
done.
being reactionary
yeah,
to stuff.
Yeah, and let's play this out and see. I mean, like we talked about like the MCU. Yeah, they had a few movies that didn't do really well. They
Yeah.
weren't huge, but look what they got with Endgame. I mean, everything tied into Endgame. They played the long game, and now they've got the second biggest movie of all time.
It's crazy
so.
because if you look at my favorite movie in the MCU is The Winter Soldier.
Okay,
Endgame,
yeah.
The Winter Soldier,
Yeah.
somewhere in that. And Captain America: The Winter Soldier made about like $700 million,
Right.
which is around what Man of Steel made,
Yeah,
and we
yeah.
still haven't gotten a sequel for that.
Right,
Now
yeah.
imagine if like Marvel was that reactionary about
Right.
their films.
Yeah.
We
Yeah,
wouldn't
'cause-
have any more Captain America movies.
Right.
You know, you got to play it out.
You got to play it out.
Let these characters
a whole long
grow.
storyline, and maybe they don't have somebody. Maybe they don't have a one person pitching this whole idea like that has a vision for a whole universe.
I think Grayson and I talked about that, and even though I didn't like love everything that Snyder did decision wise with the characters, I would have preferred that they just stuck to his
Yes.
vision and then just let other directors play around with it.
Right.
With whatever movie they end up getting.
Yep.
I obviously don't let Snyder do every movie like he was on pace to do, but just let every director do their own take on it within that universe that
Yeah.
he's already kind of built.
I agree. Yeah, that's the thing. It's. I wish they could get it together because growing up, I liked Spider-Man. He was one of my favorites, but then I really didn't pay a lot of attention to any of the other Marvel
Yeah.
characters. I was more of a DC
DC.
guy. I liked Superman and Batman. Those
Same.
were and to see, so I liked the first two Keaton movies, or the only two Michael
Yeah.
Keaton movies. They were pretty good, and then they went into you got into Val Kilmer and the Clooney and all that kind of stuff, and it was
Clooney.
like, oh my gosh, what are they doing?
Yeah.
But of course, I still watched them and have watched all those movies multiple
Sure.
times.
Yep. Same.
Because I like Batman.
Even Batman and Robin, I've watched multiple
yes,
times.
Yeah. Even with pitiful Arnold Schwarzenegger playing
Nice to
Mr.
meet
P-
you.
Yeah, it's like, oh, that's so bad. But anyway, I like that. And then when Henry Cavill, well, even Brandon Routh, when he played Superman, he was.
I loved that
He was
movie as a-
Christopher Reeve.
yeah,
I
as a
mean,
kid, I loved it.
Yeah, it was a great movie, I
Yeah.
thought. And then when Henry Cavill came along, it was like, oh my gosh, they finally. All right, DC's getting it together. They've got a.
Yep.
Christian Bale Batman was really good,
Yeah.
but it was a completely separate.
It was too realistic.
Yeah, and then when Cavill came along, and they was like, okay, they're building a universe here, and then they've scrapped it. It's just like
That's so
man,
disappointing.
Yeah, and especially for a character or an actor like Henry Cavill, he wants to play that character. I mean,
Oh, he loves that
he
character.
loves that character. So, But yeah, we'll see how that goes. Along the lines of the Batman, they have confirmed all the villains for the Batman.
It's exciting.
Kind of nervous. Yeah. So what do we have? Riddler, Catwoman, Penguin, Firefly. Which that's going to be. I'm kind of excited to see that
Firefly.
character. Yeah, because that's not one that you see mainstream
I'm
a lot.
like familiar with the character from the Arkham games.
Yeah,
that's where I'm most familiar with him.
Two-Face and then Mad Hatter. So that's the 6 that have been confirmed. Now the question is, are they going to shove all 6 of these guys into the same movie, or is this a trilogy?
A trilogy, maybe.
Yeah. So,
yeah, there was like I spoke to you before how there was this idea that there can be like some sort of escape from Arkham type
Right.
of plot line where these villains end up escaping, or they trap Batman in Arkham and just to mess with him. That was like one of the rumors that came out for Ben Affleck's idea.
Right.
Was that Batman was going to be stuck in Arkham Asylum with these villains who have escaped, and he's trying to basically get his way out, get the villains back.
Right.
But I don't think they're going to go that way either, because we've heard that this movie is going to be very detective-like, which
Right.
means he's going to be going around doing things within Gotham. So it's interesting. There's a lot of villains.
Yeah, it is a lot of villains. I kind of get the sense, like, I know you are a big Raimi Spider-Man fan.
Oh, yeah.
Those were great movies up until the 3, which 3 still has some great aspects of it, but they tried to cram too much into it. And it seems we've got this pattern with Marvel seems to have corrected this now, but it seems like all the other comic book movies and things have this pattern of trying to cram 2, 3, 4 bad guys into a movie, and it's like, okay, let's just have...
They have like a main
let's
one,
have the, yeah, main
and then they
one,
have like a small one that they brought back from a different movie, and it's like
let's just have a one-on-one fight here.
Good. Like we were talking about Spider-Man versus Doc Ock.
Spider-Man. That was great.
It was so simple,
Yeah.
but it was great.
Yeah.
It was a meaningful relationship between the two characters, and
Even
you
with-
didn't want him to convert.
No.
You didn't want him to be a bad guy. You know?
Right, yeah. And it was great. Even with The Amazing Spider-Man 2, which is one of my favorites.
Yeah.
I still, it's like, okay, you had Electro, and then you ended up getting the
Green Goblin.
It was like, oh, do we have to shove 2 villains into
Exactly.
a movie? So
What's the deal with that lately?
I don't
You know
know.
that you bring
Yeah.
up a great topic though. It's just like
it's kind of like, in the late 90s, mid 90s, late 90s, Nick Cage was all the rage. He was in everything. But every movie he was in was the same, and it was, there's going to be 9,000 bullets going off at one time with explosions and stuff, and it was like, it seems like they've
Multiple cuts of the same explosion.
Yeah, it seems like they're doing that with this. It's like, it's just too much. Let's back off.
that is weird.
Yeah.
Sometimes you
same
miss
thing
this,
with-
like the small contained stories.
Yeah, it was kind of the same thing with like the Transformers movies. You couldn't see the robots fight because of all the dirt and fire flying around from the explosions. It was like, all right, Michael Bay, I've seen you have good movies.
Yeah.
Let's back off of this. And so anyway, that's kind of my take on it. So we'll see how it goes.
I'm excited. Like I have like trust in Matt Reeves, and I really like Robert Pattinson because I've seen like a lot of his work outside of Twilight, and I'm excited for that. It's cool that they did confirm him. Or Matt Reeves has kind of confirmed him on Twitter,
right,
for being the Batman. Everything else, I mean, it's just really interesting that they're gonna have potentially so many villains, and this is like a rumor that's been floating around before Pattinson was ever cast.
Yeah,
it's been rumored that there were going to be multiple villains in it. So
I was just looking. I wasn't real sure what. I don't keep up with a lot of directors. Like, I mean, you and Grayson know these directors well, but Matt Reeves. So like Dawn of the Planet of the Apes and War of the Planet of the Apes, those were great movies. He did a really good job with those. So Cloverfield, even though it was a camcorder movie.
Oh yeah.
So it's kind of choppy and stuff. It's still a pretty cool movie.
It's kind of ahead of its time.
Yeah.
For those movies.
Yeah. So I'm excited. We'll see how this goes.
Yeah. Awesome.
At least we got something moving. I think that's the big thing.
Something's happening with DC.
Let's try to get some. Come on, DC, you can do it. So
we don't think this is going to be connected to. It's obviously not connected at all to the Wonder Woman and Aquaman and
Yeah, there's
Anything like that?
some rumor. I don't know if you want to even call it rumors, but there's some news that there's basically going to be 2 DC universes.
Oh, yeah.
So you're looking at Aquaman and Wonder Woman. Obviously, we don't know of anything else as far as like any of the other Justice
Sure.
League characters. But then there's also going to be this the Batman that's going to take place in another universe.
Yeah.
And then also I think I saw where they were possibly going to be a Teen Titans movie or maybe a Young Justice movie.
Yeah.
They weren't sure which one to call it in that same Pattinson universe. So
It's that would be in the Robert Pattinson.
yeah, that was what.
Really
article was.
interesting.
Yeah, it was kind of.
I'm really wondering if this Joaquin Phoenix Joker is in the same universe as Pattinson's Batman.
Yeah, that's going to be a whole interesting thing to see this summer, or is that this fall? That's this fall.
October.
October. Okay,
Yep.
so yeah, end of the summer is where. That's an interesting looking movie. It's kind of.
Yeah.
I saw it and it was like, okay, that just looks terrifying, and which is really
It's like a
hard
horror
to do
movie.
after Heath Ledger's. I mean, because he was, obviously
No one
the
can match
Joker.
that.
Yeah, nobody. So I'm like, we'll
Getting
see.
close.
But it was what? It takes place in the 70s or 80s or something.
I think it's the
like
late 70s.
Yeah.
Which timeline, the rumor is that this Matt Reeves Batman could take place in the 90s. You see a very young Bruce Wayne
That's
in
true,
the late
yeah.
70s. So you're looking at about the timeline could match up
Right.
potentially. And then you end up getting an older Joker later down the
That
line.
makes because in Justice League and Batman v Superman, Bruce Wayne was basically my age. His
Yep.
parents were killed in 1981.
Right.
So that puts us born about the same time. I was born in 74.
Okay, yeah.
So that would put us about the same age, 45, 46
Yeah.
years old. So I can see how. So in early 90s, I would have been a 20.
That could be
19,
interesting
20
too.
year
I
old.
didn't think about that. So
Yeah.
it'd be like a younger
Yeah, it was kind
Affleck.
of like it would almost go back to like the animated Batman Year One.
Yeah,
when
yeah,
he
yeah,
was
yeah.
really, really young.
Yeah.
So
That's interesting.
yeah.
Well, I guess we'll find out more about it whenever it decides to come
Yep.
out. 2021 probably.
I can't remember. I think I saw a date on it, but it was 21 or 22.
I'll be
so,
excited once we start getting like more casting announcements, and then maybe you see some like concept
Right.
art, and maybe you see like some set photos.
Yeah,
Like I'll
yeah.
start really getting excited for
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, I remember like when the first set photos came out from Man of Steel, and Henry Cavill was standing there with the bank vault door.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he was on set, and then they had the one that was touched up where he was basically looked like he was ripping open the bank vault door.
Yeah.
It was like, this is
Yes.
really happening.
It gets you
Yes,
so
yeah.
excited when you see
because
stuff like
when
that.
Brandon Routh came out with Superman Returns,
Yeah.
they were saying there was supposed to be a sequel to that, and it was like 5 or 6 years later before they even went into any development or something like that. Maybe not quite that long, but it was
That's insane.
It was a long time, and it was like, come on, guys. So
Yeah,
yeah, so we'll see.
I'm excited.
Yep, me too.
Other thing that happened this week was the announcement of Star Wars Celebration Anaheim tickets going on sale, which is going to be on sale this week coming
Yep,
up.
the 21st.
They keep springing it up on people.
Right,
Like they haven't announced. They don't announce it. They give you like a week.
Yeah, and we definitely, and we're not delaying in ticket purchase this time because
Yeah.
they sold out so quick. We're like,
It's scary.
Yeah.
I think I told Grayson on one podcast that in the Celebration Orlando, I bought the ticket sale announcement came out like May of that year or June
Yeah.
or something like that, and I bought my 4-day pass in December of that year. I
Yeah.
had months
right,
to
yeah.
buy that.
When Grayson asked us if that could be his graduation present,
Mm-hmm.
we were like, well, yeah, we'll have to think about it. Yeah, it was months. I mean, it was 3 or 4 months after the sales and stuff. I remember him coming to us and be like, oh, well, tickets are on sale. And 3
Yeah.
or 4 months later, we bought the tickets. This last one
It was like
Chicago,
less than a week.
Yeah,
it was like a
less
couple
than a week.
days.
Yeah.
I was shocked because I
Yeah.
was like, oh, I'll have time to
Yeah,
like save
exactly,
up
yeah.
for it, and then they're gone.
So the interesting thing with this one to me is that they moved it to August. So
That does surprise me.
because it's been in April, March.
I wonder if there's any sort of motivation behind that.
No, that's an interesting change. But I'm glad for the change. It actually works out better for my schedule. So
Sure.
since we're all going, then we're all going.
Yeah. I'm so
I
excited.
know, I can't wait. So I still have regret that we didn't go this year because it's the end of the Skywalker saga
I agree.
that I grew up with. But hey, let's go see what they've got coming next.
So they'll probably announce what the next wave saga is going to be or something like that.
That's all over the place. I mean, we've got rumors of a Knights of Old Republic trilogy, which would
That'd
be
be so
absolutely
amazing.
awesome. I never played those games, but
You ever go on YouTube and watch the clips?
cinematic trailer?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It's amazing.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm like, I would.
You're like,
I was
this needs
I
to be a
wanna-
movie.
I'm like, yeah, just make a movie of that.
Yeah, I'm like,
That
why
was-
has this taken so
yeah,
long?
exactly. And then I like to read. I've read several of those Knights of the Old Republic Legends books
Yeah.
and listen to the audiobooks, and I'm like, those are some great stories. So Revan
lot of
and all that,
potential.
yeah, I'm like, yeah, that's going to be pretty cool. So I hope that. But then there was also just, more possibly a Boba Fett movie, and then now we've got the Mandalorian that's going. So Boba Fett
Yeah.
probably seems out, and then they keep talking about Obi-Wan with maybe a movie, but then they go into a TV series.
That's
maybe.
something that they could, like, if we're talking about
So there's
possible
a lot of
announcements.
stuff
Yeah.
going on for that could be
If they do a
announced.
Knights of the Old Republic, though, like, that will win over
Oh,
everybody.
people will lose their
That's
minds
all
over
you
that.
need to do.
Yeah.
Maybe Obi-Wan too. If they do both of those
Yeah.
that year, the whole crowd will just lose
Yeah.
their mind.
So speaking of Obi-Wan, I saw something a while ago. So Ewan McGregor has a
Yeah.
brother that is a retired Royal Air Force pilot. Guess what his call sign is?
Red. What is it?
Obi-2.
Oh, really?
Yes.
That's funny.
His call sign was, he flew British Tornado fighters, and his call sign was Obi-2.
That's amazing.
So
That's
that
so
was
smart.
awesome. Yeah, that was funny.
That's
I'm
so
sure
cool.
I'm sure his squadron nicknamed him that, and it just stuck.
Stuck,
obviously.
yeah.
So,
Hey,
but,
I would embrace that.
I would too. So that I saw that a while ago. Just that was pretty funny. So,
Yeah.
So what we got next?
Fat Thor is back again.
Fat Thor. so I'm starting to think they just need to do a whole Fat Thor, like not a movie, but like a web series.
You know, they did the one with his roommate.
Yes,
whatever,
yes.
just do that,
Yeah,
but
they
have Fat
and watch
Thor.
him get back in shape.
Yes, that would be so
He
great
and
in between
Chris,
movies.
Star-Lord,
Yeah.
buy some
Oh
buy
my
Bowflex
gosh.
on the dumbbells. I'm gonna get serious.
It's so funny.
I'm gonna commit.
I'm
So
gonna do
yeah,
it.
that would
I'm
be
gonna commit.
hilarious that they would do that. But so yeah, Fat Thor singing Johnny Cash. I mean, I'm sorry, but Chris Hemsworth is like he's the most diverse actor. I mean, he looked like a real,
He's
not
so-
a character. He looked like a real person sitting there singing a song,
did.
crying. Oh,
Yeah.
it was so hilarious.
he does a great job
Yeah.
of being fat.
So if anybody hasn't seen what we're talking about, so there's a video clip on Instagram that Chris Hemsworth actually released.
Yeah.
He's in full Fat Thor costume, and he is playing a guitar, which I did not know that Hemsworth
Me
played
either.
guitar, and he's playing really well.
Yeah.
And he sings a Johnny Cash song called "Hurt," and he starts bawling his eyeballs out, and it was so funny.
He
It
is
was
really a
funny.
comedic genius.
Yes.
I don't know how he does it, but his timing is like impeccable.
Yes.
When it comes to stuff like that.
But he can turn around and play a serious role like
He can start crying.
So,
Yeah.
what was the movie where he was the race car driver and
Ron Howard directed that
yeah,
one. Shoot, I can't even think
it's
of
like
it.
Fast or something like that. I can't remember what the name of it was, but
God, I wish I could
And then
remember
there was
it.
another one where he was it a CIA type movie, Black something?
He did the one with Tom Holland in The Heart of the Sea, where they're trapped out on sea.
Yeah,
that was really good.
Yeah.
I enjoyed
never
that.
did
That's
see
another
that
Ron
one,
Howard
but
movie, actually.
Yeah. So, oh yeah, Ron Howard. So, it's Ron. Speaking of Ron Howard, I was pointing out his brother. You know, his brother is always in all of his movies.
Ron Howard's?
Ron Howard's brother is
I didn't know
in
that.
every one of his movies. So, you know, in Solo, the guy that's running the robot fighting arena, the little weird dude, that's
yeah.
Ron Howard's brother.
That's
And he is in
insane.
every one of Ron Howard's movies.
Now I'm going to go check it
Yes,
out like on YouTube
Clint,
or something.
Clint Howard is his name. As a matter of fact, I know it was the MTV Movie Awards, and he may have gotten one at a People's Choice or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But he's been awarded like several Lifetime Achievements Awards because he's been in. hundreds of
Movies.
because he's not just in Ron Howard movies; he's in other movies.
Sure.
But, he actually was on the Andy Griffith Show when he was little.
Oh my
with
gosh.
Ron Howard. Yes,
That's
they were
insane.
they were
Little
little
boys.
He played a character on an episode of Star Trek, the original Star Trek TV show. He was in that. So
he's been at it for a
he's been at
while.
it for a long time. So great guy, Clint Howard. That's his name.
Clint Howard.
Clint Howard. Yeah, he is.
Now I'm gonna
he's
look it up
always-
on YouTube.
Yeah, he's always playing these crazy characters like that.
Sure.
So
Yeah, Chris Hemsworth was in. Did you find the name of the movie?
that's what I'm looking.
Rush.
Rush,
That's what it
yes,
was.
yes, Rush. Black Hat, was that the one I'm thinking of? Where the
Yeah, I'm not familiar with that one.
I can't remember if that was it. He's also been in The Huntsman, both of those movies, which were those are pretty neat movies. I liked those.
Kristen Stewart.
I like I kind of like fantasy movies,
Sure.
like Lord of the Rings, things like that. So those were pretty good. 12 Strong. I don't know if you ever saw that one. He played.
Oh, I never watched that one.
Okay,
I actually wanted to.
that's a great movie. I've got it. He played it. Plays an Army Ranger. No, Green Beret.
That's
Plays a
good.
Green
That was
Beret.
pretty recent, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Last year,
and
maybe.
It's a couple years old. Maybe it takes place. It's a true story.
Okay.
After 9/11, and takes place in Afghanistan.
So he's
Good
got
movie.
range.
Yeah, got range.
I'm so happy it makes me sad just the thought that he wanted to quit being Thor at one point in time, and I'm happy that he just like loves it now.
Oh yeah, I saw an article where he just said, "I will play Thor as long as the fans want me to play Thor."
Yeah, you can
and it
just
was
keep
like-
at it.
It's like, okay, we want old Thor.
Yeah. We want two skinny Thor.
Yeah.
We want all of the
We want old
Thors.
Thor with a walker.
Yeah.
like two Stormbreakers having to walk.
Oh my
with
God, that'd be
crutches.
amazing.
Yeah,
That'd be so good.
So yeah, Chris Hemsworth.
It's so funny because, like, and Grayson knows too, that I don't really care for the first two Thor movies. I think
Right.
the first one's fine.
they're okay.
Yeah. And it was so funny because I was like, I'm so bored of this character. Like in
Yeah.
Ultron, I'm just like, I'm so done with Thor. And
Right.
then Ragnarok comes out, just such a breath of fresh air. And now I'm like,
Absolutely.
please never take this character away from us.
Yes, yeah, and you even see him in Endgame at the end of it when they're discussing
Guardians of, or what does he say? As Guardians
as
of the
Guardians
Galaxy.
of the Galaxy, and he's like,
Quail.
"You are."
Yeah.
Of course. Yeah, it was like.
I love when he calls him Quail.
Yeah, Quail.
He's like, you say Quail?
Quail.
So funny.
You should fight with knives. Yes, fight with knives. That'd be exciting.
It's so good.
So good.
Now I want to watch
So how many
that.
times have you seen Endgame?
3.
3. Same here. I've seen it 3
you have
times.
seen 3?
Yeah,
Okay.
I've seen it 3.
It sucks that it doesn't look like it's going to break that record.
I know. So where are we at with it? I haven't looked in a
Shoot,
while.
I know it's like over 50 million away.
And I saw something about it. They said, it's winding down.
It's never going to, like, that record's never going to be broken, it seems like.
And one thing about with it breaking that record, though, I remember Avatar was in the movie theater like
They brought it back.
it was like in the movie theater like 6 months or something.
They ended up bringing it back and
and
made some more money, I think around Oscar time.
right.
That's always an option.
Yeah,
Maybe after a few months,
yeah, it
people
could
are
be.
like,
Yeah, they've
"Let's go
done that
see it."
before. I know. They actually did that with the original Star Wars. I remember that.
Oh, yeah.
It came out, and then like a year later, they brought it back out. So
That's interesting.
Which is probably the one that I remember. I know I went originally when it first came out, which I was only 3. So
Okay.
I'm old, but I'm not. I was 3. when
Yeah.
that came. And I probably remember seeing it the second go around more.
Oh,
I
really?
don't remember for sure, but I remember seeing it in the theaters. But I was little.
Yeah.
I was very little. So let's see. What we got?
What was the first superhero movie you saw in theater?
The first superhero movie I saw in a theater? Honestly, it would have probably been Batman, 1989
Oh,
Batman.
really?
Yeah, because there just weren't any superhero movies. There were some superhero TV shows, and they were cheesy. Oh, bad cheesy.
Like Superman, Christopher Reeves. What was that? 78.
That was 78, and I never
Yeah, you were
saw.
only like 4.
Yeah,
when it
I
came
never
out.
saw any of those Christopher Reeve movies in the
Okay.
theater. So my parents we didn't go see a lot of movies when I was
Sure.
growing up. But I did do a lot of VHS tapes.
Sure.
At the movie store in
Yeah.
town before Blockbuster
Oh, man.
ever existed.
I miss that.
Yeah,
I miss going to Hollywood Video
we
or
had-
something like that.
What was the I don't even remember the name of the video. Jerry's Video was the
Oh,
name of it.
Jerry's
Jerry's
Video.
Video, right in the middle of town.
Oh
6
man,
Mile.
wonder what Jerry's up to.
Worldwide, we're looking at 2.7 billion.
And what do we need?
It's got to be getting close. I thought that was. Where's the top things on this article here?
I think Avatar's still in the 2.7 range.
Yeah, it was. So domestic totals are 830 million. That's huge.
For domestic, yeah.
Yeah, because so 830 million, and you're thinking there's only 330 million people in the U.S.
Oh, so yeah.
Yeah.
So Avengers Endgame would need $46 million.
So 46. That's worldwide, right?
Yeah, but they pulled it out of most of the foreign, like
Yeah.
China. Like within the first 4
Yeah.
weeks, they pulled it.
I know. I wonder why that.
I don't know. That
Probably
blows my mind.
Probably something in there they didn't like.
Yeah, maybe. The Spider-Man does so well overseas in China. It's such a huge character, and they'll keep that around forever.
Forever, yeah.
They make so much money over there compared to the U.S.
So we needed more Spider-Man in India.
Yeah, probably. Just need more of him in the marketing.
He should have survived the snap.
Exactly.
You should have had him the whole movie.
Then you would have been good.
Yeah.
But that is sad that it's not going to beat it because after the opening weekend, I was convinced. I was like, it might get it.
Yeah.
I told me and Grayson kind of had like not really a bet, but he definitely thought it was going to break it, and I didn't before the movie ever even came out. And looks like I'm going to be right.
Yeah.
So, Grayson, if you're listening.
He said he was going to listen.
Yeah.
So yeah, that it's kind of. I'm very surprised that it didn't break it, but it really. Those first 2 weeks, it really went hard, and then it just slowed down a lot.
It did.
So
it's also summertime.
It's summer, yeah.
Yeah, and
so
Avatar came out in like December.
It came out in December, yeah.
So it had that advantage.
Yeah, everybody's out playing at the lake right now as opposed to sitting in the theater. So,
Yeah.
So can't blame them there.
Yeah.
So I know the last thing I had on my list was something that I thought was kind of cool was. So there's a book coming out in 2020 by Tom King. It's the Batman. When I say book, I'm assuming graphic novel. It didn't really say.
Hopefully.
But Batman, Batman and Catwoman. But there's possibly some leaked pictures or teasers or whatever you want to call it. Maybe it ties into Mask of the Phantasm, which is one of my all-time favorite movies. For those who are not familiar, the animated Mask of the Phantasm movie came out what year, Keenan?
93.
And what year was Keenan born?
92.
So
I remember going to see it. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, exactly. So to show you how old I am, Mask of the Phantasm came out the year after I graduated high school.
Yeah, you got to enjoy that one.
So I'm the old guy on this set this week. Usually Keenan's giving Grayson a hard time about being the old guy.
It doesn't feel good to be on the other side of it.
So, but that was pretty cool. Mask of the Phantasm, always one of my favorite movies. That's one thing I know I've heard y'all talk about in the past, who that would play Batman before they announced Pattinson. Yeah. And one of my favorite, one of my picks always would be Carl Urban.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you why, and it ties directly into that movie. So there's a scene in Mask of the Phantasm when he's at basically it's the World's Fair, but it's not the world of the future or whatever.
Right.
And Joker smashes Batman over the head with a little building.
Right.
You remember that scene?
Yeah.
So and Batman just hauls off and I can't remember if he kicks him or pops him in the mouth, and Joker's missing a tooth.
Yeah.
He comes up and he's got this real deep growl voice. Only Kevin Conroy can do, but he's like,
sure.
Joker.
Yeah.
I'm like,
that's a pretty good impression right there.
Thank you. But I could totally hear Carl Urban
pulling that off.
Yeah, because he can play a pissed off guy really well. So
yeah,
and that was the Batman I grew up with.
Sure.
Was Batman. You had Bruce Wayne, and then you had Batman, and Batman was always so just. The comic book Batman was just always pissed and just ready to just wail on Joker.
Right.
Just seethe with hate for Joker. but he never did kill him. So
No.
that was always the amazing thing about that. But anyway, I thought I'd throw that in there.
I thought that was cool.
Yeah.
Whenever you sent that to me, I was like Batman and Catwoman. I'm like, yep, I've seen it before. And then you mentioned like the possible tie-in with Mask of the Phantasm, and I was like, all right, there we go.
Yeah,
I'm like, now that's exciting.
Yeah, so
you said 2020 is
2020 is when that's coming out. So I've always wanted to see that Mask of the Phantasm as a live action.
Yeah,
movie.
it'd be a great
yeah.
story to adapt.
Yeah, so that was such a cool story because it's a Batman origin story, but it had a lot of other stuff in it where they even the way they ended tongue tied here, the way they tied in Joker at the end of that and things like that. That was a great movie. I love that movie.
I think I told Grayson on the last podcast, or one of the last podcasts, that DC just has some of the story wise they're way above Marvel.
Yes, they've got some fantastic
great
stories.
characters and great stories.
They seem to be so much deeper. I mean, almost like and that was one thing about some of the DC movies that they really did that with. And I think that's where one of the problems with DC is when they started getting away from so we had kind of accepted, all right, Marvel, fun, cutting up, cracking up, Thor Ragnarok, people cutting up, stuff like that. DC's going to be the deeper thinker.
Sure.
I won't necessarily say darker
just
movies.
More grounded
Yeah,
stories.
more grounded and stuff. And then it was almost like knee-jerk reactions, like, well, Marvel's doing this, and so they were like, oh, we got to be more like Marvel.
Yeah.
So it was like, no, DC is DC, and
you just gotta
Marvel.
get your characters right.
Yeah, exactly.
That's all you have to do.
Yeah.
And then people will appreciate you for that.
I mean, you got to, because we're in an age now where nerds are cool.
Exactly.
When I grew up, I kind of hid my nerdom.
Even same with me.
Yeah,
The MCU was not around until I graduated high school.
And Star Wars and things like that, it was kind of like, I like Star Wars. But now it's like, I mean, I wear more comic book shirts and stuff now than I
ever
did
before.
Yeah, than when I was growing up.
Yeah,
I've constantly got on a comic book shirt.
Yeah,
or a Star Wars
shirt. I wear my Spider-Man shirt to work.
Yeah,
and I'm just like, nobody cares.
Yeah, nobody cares. They're that cool shirt.
Yeah, exactly. I hear that more often than anything else.
Yeah. So, and I was really inspired a couple weeks ago. One of the podcasts I listened to, there's a guy on there. He's a retired Navy SEAL, and he started talking about the 501st, the local. And I was like, this is a Navy SEAL, 35 years in the Navy SEAls, and he's talking about being nerd stuff. And
Star Wars.
I'm like, yeah, we've arrived.
Exactly, yeah. People have just embraced it now.
Yeah, exactly.
You have to think that the MCU is partially responsible for a lot of that.
Absolutely.
Also, I mean, you can look at the Sam Raimi movies, but even then, I couldn't talk about those movies with my friends growing up.
Yeah.
That's just me. Everybody was afraid to talk about, even Lord of the Rings. I remember one of my friends told me that he liked Lord of the Rings, and I was shocked.
Yeah.
Because I was like, are you really telling me this right now? And then I was like, because I love Lord of the Rings.
Right.
And then he ended up showing me his book collection. I'm just like, oh my God. I'm like, I did not know this about you.
Right.
And I'm like, it's weird. I'm like, why do we keep this from each other,
Yeah.
And then now it's just
now it's
being
just
a nerd is,
that's
you're cool.
People at work, they're like, I'll have a few people that pick on me nerd, and I'm like, whatever.
Yeah.
That's what I like.
Exactly.
I don't care what
it's
you
cool,
think.
Though.
Yeah. So
yeah.
Of course, you kind of get that with age. You kind of get where you're like, I don't really care what people think. So,
yeah. I'm kind of there too.
Yeah, you get there because you're so old. I think it's all the coffee you drink. You're surrounded by coffee and stuff. So Grayson's the same way when he drinks his old man straight black coffee.
Yeah.
Which I can't even do that.
You can't drink black?
No, I don't like black coffee. I
coffee.
like cream and sugar. Yeah, well, Splenda. Got to stay healthy.
Yeah,
which works. People will probably bash me for Splenda because it's not healthy.
Is it not healthy?
That's what they say.
I've never tried it, so I'm like,
sweetener,
yeah. Anything artificial is
now we're really
nowadays.
just rambling.
That's what we do here.
That's what we do here.
That's what people come for.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, we covered all that. We went through a lot of stuff.
Yeah, we did.
We rambled a lot less than me and Grayson do.
Yeah.
So
I think it's probably because we had a list of so much stuff to cover. I mean, I know sometimes you guys only have 3 or 4 things that'll happen in a week, but there was a lot of news this week. So,
but this is what happens every podcast. We'll start talking, and if Spider-Man comes up even a second,
you guys
like 20 minutes later, we're still talking about Spider-Man. We're like, oh yeah, I'm like back to Batman.
Yeah,
it's like it happens every week.
Exactly, I hear that all the time.
Yeah,
so, because I know Grayson loves Spider. So, have I ever told you? I'm going since it's Father's Day, and we'll give you Father's Day memory
story
of Grayson.
All right, I'm ready for
this. So
Grayson,
when he was little, so he'll be 20 in August.
Yeah.
So when Spider-Man, Sam Raimi, when the first one came out, what year was that?
2004, I think.
2004. So Grayson was 6.
Actually, it might have been earlier than that. That might be Spider-Man 2.
Okay, let's see. We'll look it up real quick here.
Because Spider-Man 3 came out in 2007. So 2002 was the first Spider-Man.
So 2002. So Grayson was 4. And then the second one came out, he would have been 6 or so, like that.
Sure.
So they had Spider-Man suits, like Halloween costumes, which they still do every year.
Yeah.
We got Grayson a Spider-Man costume because that's what he wanted.
Yeah.
He wore that under his clothes everywhere he went for 3 years.
That's amazing.
We went through 2 Spider-Man suits.
Yeah.
He finally kind of grew out of it when he went to the black Spider-Man suit.
Yeah.
But he didn't like it as good. But yeah, he was Spider-Man for Halloween like every year in a row. Except one year. Before wore a Spider-Man suit, he had a Buzz Lightyear costume.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that he wore around.
But he was like a little bit younger.
Yeah, he loved Buzz Lightyear.
That's so funny.
But yeah, he wore that Spider-Man suit. There's pictures of him. I think it's an Easter egg hunt that my wife I was at work one day.
Yeah.
And she took him to the Easter egg hunt at one of the churches, and he's got on jeans and like a flannel shirt, and you can see his Spider-Man costume
That's
underneath.
so cool.
So he was ready.
Even
to go.
like what was it, like prom or something like that one year? He had the picture where he
had a Spider-Man T-shirt on under that. So
maybe he is actually still doing that, and we don't know.
Here's the thing: we've never seen Spider-Man and Grayson together in the same room.
No.
So I'm not saying he is Spider-Man, but I'm not saying he's not.
He is.
He is.
He embraces all the qualities of a Peter Parker.
Yeah, exactly. So
that's why.
But yeah, it was pretty funny. Everywhere we went, he had on a Spider-Man costume.
I think I was like 10-ish when Spider-Man came out.
Yeah,
first
that's
one.
about right.
I think I was like
born in '92.
Yeah,
so yeah,
10.
Yeah.
I remember the theater was packed.
Yes.
I actually I went with my family, my brother and my parents, and I couldn't even sit with them because there wasn't enough seats.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I was like, I'm 10, but I was like 3 rows ahead of them, and I sat by myself completely content.
Oh, I bet
I'm
you
like
felt
so
like,
excited.
Yeah. Oh,
so
yeah.
I did not care one bit. But
so Spider-Man, that was really the first superhero movie that looked.
It was X-Men. Awesome. X-Men came out in 2000. I remember seeing that.
Yeah, but it was.
Yeah, it was.
It wasn't the same because they still, even with the jumping around, so like with Wolverine and Toad and things like that, it still didn't look the same. Being able to capture Spider-Man swinging in New York City,
it almost seemed like it was impossible to do.
Yeah, right. It was like even with the Superman movies and stuff. You could make Superman look like he was flying and things like that, which I think Superman Returns came out after Spider-Man.
Oh, it did?
Yeah.
It was like 06, I think, or 05?
Something like that, yeah.
Something like that?
Yeah, 4 or 5,
yeah.
something like that, maybe 6.
In that range.
But yeah, I remember when Spider-Man came out, because we'd wanted a Spider-Man movie or a TV show. All you got was animated, because that was the only way they could do it. And then when that came out, it was like...
I watched a documentary on it, and... what Sam Raimi did was he actually, which I love him for, is he uses practical effects for as much as he can.
Right.
But he actually put a camera on a crane and then swooped it through New York City.
Right.
And without Spider-Man, and then they just CGI'd Spider-Man in there.
Right.
But it looks like you're swinging straight through the streets of New York,
which
with
is
the traffic.
So cool. So
yeah, I love him for that.
Yeah, and once that one, I mean, it was like groundbreaking. Once that came out, it was like...
It started exploding.
Yeah, it started exploding because it was like, people were like, oh, we can make superhero movies and they look legit.
People
they
like it
real,
too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some of them were cheesy, but now we're kind of hitting its stride,
Yeah.
Every now and then you get like a Dark Phoenix.
Yeah.
Which we haven't seen yet.
Yeah, we didn't. We talked about that going to see it, and it's like, I hadn't even seen it.
It feels like a chore.
I know. I was like, because I was like, well, I need to go see this movie, but really need to go to the gym, and I really just need to. It's
priorities. Yeah,
exactly. I've got something
like,
that's more important than going to see
I'm
this
like,
movie.
I knew I was gonna clean out my closet at some point in time.
I need to get the oil change, but you said it done last week.
Yeah.
Well,
Like,
I just want to make sure.
I did a lot of miles.
I drove a lot this week.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm sure I'll see it at some point, but
Same.
So we'll see how that goes. I know it's getting pretty much terrible reviews.
Bad reviews and bombed at the box office.
I think I saw today that they're expecting, was it Sony? Or no, Fox, which is not really, it's old Fox. It's not really Fox anymore. But lose $100 million on that movie.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me.
No,
Spent all that money on reshoots for nothing.
Right. And then, to me, though, it doesn't look like they spent on some of the stuff that's like their suits and things like that.
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
like,
very, like, 2000 looking
I'm
suits.
like, I could go to the comic book store or the costume store and buy a suit.
There's some
that looks-
cosplayers out there that look better than that.
Yeah. So it was like you spend all this money on Deadpool and making him look legit.
Yeah.
And then you turn around and it's like,
It's just
that looks
garbage.
It's almost like they were obligated by some contract to do this movie. Like, all right, we're
You're
doing
like,
this
we're
because we
showing
have
up
to,
for
but
it.
we're doing it.
Exactly.
We don't give a crap. So,
It's so funny.
Disney's buying us anyway.
Exactly. That's probably the
It's
mentality
probably
that
like,
they
we don't
went in
care.
with.
Disney's buying it. We'll let them eat
Yeah.
it. So.
Well, that's pretty much going to do it for this episode of the Comic Blast podcast. Grayson will be back next week. I don't know. This one went pretty well. Maybe we'll have you back too.
Awesome. That'd be
be
great.
really cool.
Next week I got to work, so it'll be Grayson back by himself. But I'd love to be back some other
that'd be
time.
really cool.
We still have to have our Last Jedi discussion.
Oh boy, I'm looking forward to that.
Because I know you love that movie
I
almost
do.
as much as Thor 2.
Been dying to talk about it. Yeah. But yeah, thanks for being on. I appreciate you doing
enjoyed
this.
Enjoyed it. Had a great time. Look forward to being back.
Yeah.
Oh, and Grayson sent a message.
Did he?
Yeah.
I'm scared.
Shazam!